Hi, I'm Chelsea, and welcome to Cozy with Chelsea. This is a podcast to nourish your mind, body, and soul. Today, since it's the first episode, I really just wanted to tell you about myself and talk a little bit about Cozy. So, like I said, I'm Chelsea, and I am from a city that I'm from the desert, is what I'm trying to say. I was born and raised here, and I've lived in a few different areas, but I actually moved back home a few years ago, and I really have just been able to develop an appreciation for where I live, even though it's very hot. Even right now, I'm kind of sweating recording this because I just went outside and it's 92 degrees, so not horrible. But we have been having some thunderstorms here, which is a rarity, so that's been wonderful. It's been humid and hot, but then you have like this humid, cool breeze, and it's kind of nice. So, yeah, I'm from the desert. And a few more things about me: I love reading. I'm usually rotating through about 15 or 20 books at a time. I'm reading a bunch right now, but I just started Ina Garten's memoir, which is called Be Ready When the Luck Happens, which is such an awesome title, by the way. Love Ina. But I'm only a third of the way in, so I can't give a full review yet. She's always been kind of like this motherly, cozy, wonderful woman to watch cook, but I've never looked that much into her life. So I'm not going to give any spoilers, but let's just say she does some things even though other people don't like it. And I think that's so cool. And took a lot of risks too. So that's been really fun reading that. I'm reading a lot of wellness and nutrition books right now. Those are not, as interesting as some of the other books I read, but they are obviously informational and a lot of good, information to have. But I'm reading one called Healing with Whole Foods. That's by Paul Pitchford. And again, I'm only like a third of the way into that. This is why I'm rotating 15 to 20 books, because I cannot stay on one book unless it's a romantasy, and then I'm locked in. So yeah, I'm like a third of the way into that one, but it's really great. It's just about healing your body with the power of nutrition and eating whole foods. So I do really like that. And what else? I love a romance book. If you look at the majority of my book collection, there's a lot of romance there. Right now I'm reading, I actually just picked up Story of My Life by Lucy Score, and I've read a few of her books. One of them I loved, and the other ones I didn't. I'm not really into like a romance where there's like some horrible thing that happened and there's kind of like a murder aspect involved. So I'm not really into that. Some of her books have been like that. I haven't read this one yet, though, Story of My Life. So far, I like it. It seems cute and cozy, but we'll see where it goes. What else? Oh, I just also picked up another new book. It's called Witches Get Stuff Done. So that one, again, I haven't even started reading that one, maybe a few pages, but I went to the bookstore and wanted a witch romance, and that's what I got. So we'll see how it is. That book is by Molly Harper. So I haven't read any of her books before, but I love me a good romance. Okay, so the podcast is really, there's going to be a lot of different things that we talk about. The idea is that the podcast nourishes your mind, body, and soul. So we're really going to just talk about things that make you feel good. They could make you feel good physically. They could make you feel good mentally. They could nourish your soul. Whatever it is that feels good. And that is also why it's called Cozy with Chelsea, because things that are cozy tend to make me feel good, and things that make me feel good tend to be cozy. So there's an overlap there. But yeah, cozy is just very important to me. It's been important my entire life, but really especially in the last 5-ish years. To me, cozy is more than just the word. I've really sought out cozy in my life because I didn't always have it. So to me, cultivating that feeling of warmth and love and safety is something that I've really worked on over the last few years, and something that will be important to me for the remainder of my life. So yes, you think of cozy, you think of a fireplace, you think of hot cocoa, you think of a blanket. And cozy is all of those things. Absolutely, because I love a fireplace and hot cocoa and a blanket. And it's so much more. So anything that's making me feel that warm, fuzzy feeling is what I consider cozy. And I wanted to go into how to incorporate cozy into your life. There are a myriad of ways that you can incorporate cozy. What I wanted to talk about today was activities, hobbies that, that feel good and warm and fuzzy. I wanted to touch on a few different areas of that. The first one that I had is art. And art is a wide range of modalities. However, I wanted to focus on music today because I love some cozy, warm music. I'm actually a diehard sad girl music fan. So I love my Phoebe Bridgers. I love Lucy Dacus the most. I actually saw Lucy, like she's my friend. I saw her in New York in Central Park, and it was one of the most magical performances of my life. I mean, oh my God, I love Lucy. Yeah, I think she's incredible. And if you haven't heard Night Shift, you better go listen to it right now. Right now. But I really, really, really loved her album called Home Video. That was from 2021. And there are just so many good songs on that album. There's Hot and Heavy, Christine, VBS. If you know, you know. Thumbs. I don't know. There's just so many. So many are so great on that album. Love her. But the one I was actually going to talk about is someone that I found recently, and her name is Gigi Perez. I would also classify this as sad girl music. I actually was looking at her Spotify profile, and her, her she describes her own music as Sims 2 emo lesbian love story, but in the medium of music. So those are her words, and I thought that was awesome. But okay, with Gigi Perez, Sailor Song is probably the most popular one, and I love that song as well. But I also really love Sometimes, and that one, if I'm actually looking at it, is Sometimes in parentheses Backwood. And I also love Normalcy, and I also love Kill For You. So those are a few to check out from Gigi Perez. I think her voice is just incredible. She has like this warmth and depth, and I just love it. Now, another kind of art that feels cozy to me is poetry. So I'm a huge fan of poetry. I've written a lot of poetry. I also love a haiku. It's like a way to get all of my thoughts condensed into a poem, but also a mathematical equation. So it's like, okay, I have this many syllables to turn this feeling into. So somehow that works really well in my brain. I've written, I don't even know, hundreds of haikus at this point. But if you have a feeling and you want to get it out and you want to process it, I would recommend trying to put that into a haiku format. So see if it works for you. But yeah, I love poetry. One of my favorite poets is Mary Oliver. And if you pick up any book of hers, your life will be better. So that's a strong opinion, but it's absolute fact. No denying it. I love her. She actually has a book of dog poems. Dog Songs is what it's called, by Mary Oliver. I actually gave that book to my mom after one of her dogs passed, which I do think was a great book, but it's going to make you cry. So I don't regret giving it to her in that moment. I think it's a great way to kind of process through those emotions. But if you like dogs or you have someone in your life who loves dogs, give them that book. But that's just one of her books. She has so many, and they're all great. They're all great. All different collections, and yeah. But I wanted today to really focus on one of her poems that I heard. Well, I've read it before, but I actually was looking her up on her website because unfortunately she passed away a few years ago. On her website, they have a memorial sort of thing where a lot of people speak about her that knew her, and they also read her poems. And I heard someone read this poem, and it was just great to hear it again. So I'm going to read it right now. The poem is called Don't Hesitate, and it goes like this. If you suddenly and unexpectedly feel joy, don't hesitate. Give into it. There are plenty of lives and whole towns destroyed or about to be. We are not wise and not very often kind, and much can never be redeemed. Still, life has some possibility left. Perhaps this is its way of fighting back, that sometimes something happens better than all the riches or power in the world. It could be anything, but very likely you notice it in the instant when love begins. Anyway, that's often the case. Anyway, whatever it is, don't be afraid of its plenty. Joy is not made to be a crumb. And how good is that? I just think it's incredible. For me personally, I so often find myself in moments of pure joy that I hesitate. Exactly like she says. I have trouble sometimes accepting, wow, these moments are truly this great. And I'm allowed to have moments of pure joy, which is sad, but it's the case. And it's for valid reasons. I just think it's such a wonderful poem. So if you out there are feeling joy, don't hesitate. Joy is not made to be a crumb. So good. Okay. So sorry, that gave me chills and I kind of feel like crying. Okay, I love that poem. Another form of art that I want to talk about are movies and shows. And this, I could go on and on and on. But I wanted to start with Harry Potter because we've been watching that. And I didn't realize that I've only seen the first few Harry Potters. Well, before I watched all of them. So once we got to like the third or fourth one, I realized I had never seen any of those movies, and I got to watch Harry Potter for the first time. So that was a pretty magical experience. Yeah, if you want to watch something cozy, why not? Why not a wizard movie? Why not a wizard and witch movie set in England? I mean, come on. Doesn't get cozier than that. Yeah, we've been watching Harry Potter, and I have been categorized or designated as Hermione, and I had never really associated myself with Hermione, but as we watched the movies, I was like, oh my God, I would be blessed to be considered a Hermione. So I'm channeling my inner Hermione at the moment. There is nothing I enjoy more than having a cozy show that I get to rewatch over and over again. Because, by the way, does anyone else out there have this affliction where you watch anything that has anything scary, anything violent, moments of suspense, anything like that, and you can't recover for like a full week? Because I have that affliction and I've had it I think I've actually had it my whole life, but as I've gotten older, I'm starting to really get in touch with how my body is feeling after doing certain activities. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to be watching a movie or show where there's a million flashing lights or someone being murdered or whatever it is. And I think that's totally fair. I don't think I'm supposed to be watching that every day. So I have been really laying off of those shows, although I did just watch all of The Last of Us. First of all, Pedro Pascal. And second of all, it's a very well done show, and my partner loves watching it. And I do like this show, but it's like I have to be fully connected to him the entire time, or else I'm not going to make it through. So if you struggle with watching anything like that, I feel you, I hear you, I'm with you. By the way, I'm drinking a matcha. I don't have this on the list, but cozy drinks. Yeah, I have to have like at least 3 to 5 a day. So Right now I'm drinking an iced matcha that I made with almond milk and a little touch of maple syrup, and it's amazing. Okay, so back to shows. Yeah, I love having a show, a cozy show that I can rewatch. And, a go-to is Gilmore Girls. So it seems like it's always in the fall. I know that their lives can be always in the fall, but it seems like it's always filmed in the fall. It's just the best. And it's a mother-daughter relationship, which, there's controversy around around their relationship, but ultimately they love each other. And it's just nice to watch that. I actually love Lorelai. There's a lot of different opinions on the characters of the show, but I am a Lorelai diehard fan. Love Gilmore Girls and a few other shows that I like to rotate through. Initially, like in my early 20s, was The Office. I watched that 20 times. No, more than that. More than 20 times. A lot of times. And Parks and Rec. Ugh, so good. Amy Poehler. And what else? Oh, New Girl. I would rewatch that a lot. I love New Girl, and Schmidt is 100% my favorite character on New Girl. And I love I don't want to spoil it, but whatever. If you haven't seen New Girl by now, then that's your own fault. So I love Schmidt and Cece. Ugh, I just love it. I love that storyline. So yeah, of course I love those, those are my rotate go-to shows. Love them. Now, there are a lot of cozy just activities you can do. I wanted to talk about journaling. Journaling is something I've done my entire life. It was, an outlet for me when I was younger to kind of get everything out on paper and be able to process those emotions. It's a practice that I continued throughout my life. I wanted to talk about a book called The Artist's Way. The Artist's Way is a book by Julia Cameron, and it's basically a guide to unblocking yourself creatively. So it's for creatives, and that applies to like anyone creating something. And it's just a tool to help you get unblocked if you feel like you are. It has a lot of tools on how to get creative, how to get inspired. And she has a practice called the morning pages, which is really just first thing in the morning, sitting down and writing 3 pages in your journal. And the idea is that you get all of it out right away, first thing in the morning. So that the morning pages is not meant to be anything productive. She actually recommends never reading them ever again, though I have. It's just meant to kind of like brain dump and get it out so that you can move on to create something. So even today, I've done it for years now, the morning pages, but I did it this morning and I really didn't want to. I felt super resistant to it. And I realized that means I need to absolutely do it. So I did it and I was like maniacally writing in my journal, but I got some stuff out and then I went on to write a blog and record this and research. I did a lot after I got that done. But that is absolutely a cozy activity that I do. I like to do it every morning. I'm not going to say it happens every morning, but it's a wonderful way to start your day. She has a part of that book, I think it's week 5 or week 6. And well, if you haven't read it, I'm not going to say what it is, but if you need to create something, there is a specific practice in there where basically you have to remove distractions. And let me tell you, you will create something. Now, this might seem so simple, and I suppose it is, but a cozy activity would be spending time with your friends and your family. Well, the family that you like spending time with. I have one of my friends, every week we go hiking twice a week. We have like a regularly scheduled twice a week hike, and it's just the best. We go in the morning and it's a wonderful thing to do. And I feel like I don't need to explain the benefits of spending time with friends. I mean, humans, we are meant to connect with each other. That is built into our DNA. So if you're feeling lonely, reach out to a friend that you talk to all the time. Reach out to a friend you haven't talked to in a while and see what you can do and make it a cozy activity. For me, that involves anything outdoors, really. I love hiking. I love going for a walk. having a picnic at the park. You could also watch a movie together. I've really been wanting to watch The Greatest Showman. I love a good musical. I was in choir for a long time, and I love that movie. I think it's so great. So I've been wanting to have a night where we watch The Greatest Showman and eat popcorn and whatever. So figure out what cozy thing you could do with a friend and plan it. I also love to have dinner parties. So if that's something you're into, if you like cooking, or even if you don't like cooking, other people can bring food. But I love a dinner party and I love a themed dinner party. So I've actually just planned an Italian summer themed dinner party. So we're gonna have a lot of different Italian dishes. I'm not sure entirely what I'm gonna make yet. I do make a killer pesto. My friend's gonna make some tiramisu. My brother's gonna make focaccia. And then we're gonna have Italian summer music playing. I also wanna get some Italian crafts going, so I'll let you know what we end up doing. So pick up the phone, call your friend, plan a cozy evening, a cozy outing. Okay, another activity you can do that's cozy is volunteering. Helping your community or your environment is absolutely going to bring you that feeling of warmth. And it's funny. I think the more you give, the better you feel. And the more love you give, the more loved you feel. It's not a one-way thing. To love is also to be loved. So go out there and give some love to your community. Personally, I love picking up trash. I've picked up trash since I don't know, when did it start? I think middle school I started picking up trash. Yeah, I just saw trash everywhere and it just makes me so livid. So I started picking up trash as a youngster and it's something that I continue to do. I found a group here that goes into various areas in nature around us and we pick up trash. So if you have like a park near you or anything like that, anything near you, there are a lot of groups. Anything in nature, you can look it up and find them. And usually they'll have volunteer opportunities. I joined a group up here and we go up in the mountains and pick up trash. It's a lot of micro trash is what we find, like little pieces of plastic ripped up into a million shreds, which is not the most fun thing to pick up, but glad to do it. With picking up trash, it's like a treasure hunt. Like you get to find treasure. Well, treasure. One man's trash is another person's treasure. Is that the phrase? If not, that's my phrase. One person's trash is another person's treasure. Yeah, that sounds good. We love finding the big trash. It's mostly me and some older people, which is awesome. I love them. And this man found like a big cardboard box, which was super exciting. I found some Argentinian pesos one time. If you find an actual bottle, that's fun. There's a lot of different stuff that you'll find and a lot of interesting things. Oh, and by the way, you don't have to join a group to pick up trash. You could just go outside and pick up trash. I see there's actually a man in my neighborhood I see that picks up trash, and that's the real hero. It doesn't have to be picking up trash. I mean, find what you love to do. How can you help your community? How can you get out there and give back and gain at the same time? Now we have cozy hobbies. There are so many cozy hobbies. I even think just having a hobby in general means it's cozy. It could be anything. I have a lot that I rotate through. So most recently, I picked up pottery. When I lived in New York, I started doing a wheel throwing class, and it was one of the best things I've ever done. Oh, and a very humbling experience. You get to, use your hands. You get a little dirty. You get to create something. I would highly recommend if you have a studio near you. I ended up making a lot of mugs, which makes sense because I love a mug. I got to give all my friends and family a mug that I built with my own two hands, and I just really loved it. Also, I did horse riding. I actually ended up getting into dressage lessons, which if you don't know is like a very fancy, formal English. Well, you can do English or Western technically, but it's a fancy form of learning how to ride a horse. It's like very detailed, very intense. You learn everything about the horse. You learn everything. So, and I learned English, but there is Western dressage too, I believe. At least that's what I've been told. riding a horse was one of the best hobbies I picked up. I will say that one is a little bit more expensive. So, yeah, that's the downside to that one. But being able to connect with an animal like that, and those things are huge. I rode a horse. His name is Patriot, and he was definitely taller than me, but he was just ginormous. He was a retired racehorse, and I really liked him. Yeah. At first I was so nervous, and then we like formed a bond. I met this woman who worked at an equestrian tack store, and she told me that horses are, well, because they're herd animals, their heart actually syncs with the hearts around them. And that applies to humans as well. So you'll see, I mean, people have very deep bonds with their horses, especially a horse that you know very well. You're not going to form a bond right away with a horse. I mean, it takes time, just like it would with any other living being, but their hearts do sync with you. And that's a huge reason that there's horse therapy, is because it's been proven that a horse can actually, with their heartbeat, sync with yours and relax you and calm you down. So, very cool. I learned a lot of lessons from riding a horse. I also learned that you cannot fake it with a horse, which is for that same reason, because they can sense you and quite literally sense your heartbeat. If you're nervous or scared with a horse, it's gonna know. It was a really incredible experience, and it's a great way to build confidence as well, because when you're dealing with such a large animal, you want to be a little bit confident because they're going to know if you're not. I wish I had started that when I was a child. So with hobbies, there really are so many cozy hobbies that you could do. You could paint, you could be into crafts, you could just like to go for walks. You could garden. I have a friend that's really into gardening. I have a few plants I've potted. I haven't actually been able to grow like you know, food. I haven't gotten to growing food yet. So if you're into that, all the power to you. I do live in the desert, so it's a bit hard to grow stuff here, but I planted lavender recently and it is thriving. So I'm quite proud of that. Those are a lot of different activities and hobbies that can give you that sense of coziness and warmth and bring some joy into your life. And this week I have a few things that are making me feel cozy. So one, which I would have never thought, is the water park. I went to the water park recently with my family, and I'm a little bit more on the introverted side. I love a cozy room. I wouldn't normally be the water park person, but I went there, and we also went on a weekday afternoon-ish, like afternoon, evening, and it wasn't too busy. So right away, that's a positive. And also, I was like, oh, this is fun. Sometimes you forget to have fun. We just went on the lazy river like 20 times. We did a bunch of water slides. It was really, really great. So that gave me that feeling. And like I said, we've been having a lot of rainstorms here. So we actually do have a monsoon season, which is like regular rain, but for us, it's a monsoon. And it was like 3 days in a row that we had actual thunderstorms and lightning and all of that. So that was really wonderful to have. And I've been making a lot of homemade matcha lattes. I've been doing iced and hot. This is the one I'm drinking right now. And I really figured out the recipe. I also got my toenails painted and they're matcha colored. So double matcha. And the last thing that's been making me cozy is, it's summer, it's hot. I think a lot of times we don't think of summer as a cozy season, but I've been, for example, after the water park or wherever, if I go in the pool or I'm outside and it's hot and I go take a shower, after you've been hot, a cold shower, and then you put on some comfy pajamas and you get in bed, there is nothing better than that feeling. So that feeling has been reviving me this week. So I just want to say thank you for listening to my first ever podcast episode. And if you could subscribe, if you enjoyed it, of course, no pressure, but subscribe and If you want to leave a review, I would be forever eternally grateful. I also have a Substack blog, and I'm going to link that in the show notes too. So if you enjoy a blog, which is also to nourish your mind, body, and soul, then I would take a look at it, see if you like it. Thank you for spending some time with me. And this week, if you feel joy, don't hesitate.